guys, it's me Laura, and today we're going to go ahead and do another 3D Zentangle styled piece. Here I flattened out my clay on the number 1. I folded over once and then twice. And then I'm going to take my blade, I'm going to cut off the edges on all 4 sides, even the folded area. So I have a nice rectangular type piece. Once I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in a new tool. And this is the ripple blade, and I have this is the Sculpey ripple blade, and it's the larger one, or the larger ripple type, and I'm going to press down on 2/3 of that block there, and then I'm going to go above it, leave a little space, and do the other third. With my tissue blade, I'm going to go ahead, make sure your blade is cleaned off, and then I'm going to take it and try to cut off that top section, and I kind of show here how deep I go into that block, and then I set it down facing me and cut it all the way down. Now this is going to push it down onto your work surface, but that's exactly what you want it to do. And then with your thumb and your fingers, take the edges and bring them together, and this will help to form that clam shell. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and try this again. I'm going to take my clay and I'm going to run it through my pasta machine on a number 1 setting. This is an Atlas pasta machine. Flattening it out, folding it over once and then twice. And then I'm going to take my tissue blade and I'm going to cut off those edges so everything is nice and neat. So you'll have like 4 thicknesses of this. Then again, I'm going to take that ripple blade, and on 2/3 of that brick I'm going to press down into it, and then leave a little gap, and then up on that other third, press down, take your tissue blade again, and then just like you would almost a Sutton slice, you're going to cut into that brick, and you can see how thick that is. And then I'm going to place this down on its edge, and then cut the rest of the way down into it. It will crunch up the pattern, but that's what you want, because then when you take it with your fingers, and you'll form that around, it'll form that nice, wonderful little clamshell. And once I have that, I'll pull off that little end there and then place that over top my last clamshell, and you have the start of a pattern going. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and create another clamshell, but we're using the other ripple blade. So Sculpey makes 2 ripple blades. The one's a little wider, and then this other one is more narrow. And I wanted to see the difference and what it would look like. So I created another rectangle, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that smaller ripple blade, and we're again 2/3 of a way up the brick, press it down, and then leave a little gap, and then go ahead and do it again. And then take your other tissue blade, and you're going to again go through and cut that right down into it. Now if you get a little shallow, that's okay. To me, I kind of like it if it's a little more shallow, but that takes practice too. So don't be afraid if it doesn't come off great right off. And then again, peel that off your blade if it's sticking, and you're just going to go ahead and push those ends in until you get that clamshell. Notice here, even when I got a little bit more shallow on my cut, it kind of gave me a nicer look on that edge. Alright, so now that I made a couple more of those clamshells using that smaller ripple blade, I'm going to go ahead and create some balls, and this is a nice way to finish off this particular set of clamshells. You know, if you've got an area where those don't look really great, I just like to fill in with a ball and then use those balls as a designing element to just make it look like it's a more complete and finished look. All right, so now I've got quite a few, and I'm going to use my knitting needles here. Just go ahead and poke some holes in. I even used my ball stylus. I figure, why not? Just add in some more little details on these little balls to give it some interest. And this gives you some very wonderful designed and finished clamshell pieces. All right, here you have the examples I made of the clamshells. Use them for study or reference. And if you liked this video, please like and subscribe and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you're thinking. So, as always, guys, I'm sending out my biggest hugs, and I hope you have a fantastic day.